keep those pheasants warm. We'll be about another 10 minutes or a quarter of an hour before we're there to debeak them. Over and out.
Like his father, John Lewis is a gamekeeper. On the murkiest August day, John is busy preparing for the approaching pheasant shooting season.
It has been the worst year, I think, in over 20 odd years I've been keeping. I think this is the worst year that we've had for rearing the pheasants and the partridges. We rear about 2,000 ducks every year. We only shoot about 50% of anything we rear, and it's helped the situation so much because they go off on the reservoir, onto small ponds, have a few young ones themselves. We shoot those in October, whereas the pheasants we don't start until November, and it gives the boss a bit of earlier shooting. Come on! Come on! At this time of the year, we start to put the pheasants into the release pens when they're 6 to 8 weeks old, and we clip the ends of the feathers just so that they can't fly out for a few weeks. Right, we better get back and start debeaking now. If we just release them in the wood, they would die, so they've got to go into a pen for 3 or 4 weeks, and that's when it can be critical, when we can lose quite a lot, especially if we have a thunderstorm. Thunderstorms are absolutely terrible. One year I went next morning and picked up 200 dead ones. Fairly wet. When they get to 3 weeks old, then we start and debeat them. We don't find that they attack each other or peck each other until they're just over 3 weeks old. So at 3 weeks we debeat them. Just take a little bit, very small bit off the end, very much like clipping your nails really. Just take a bit off their end of the beak and that stops them pecking each other. When we want them to go to the release pens, we want them with feathers on. Otherwise, if they've naked bodies, they get cold at nights and die with the cold. And that's why we do the debeaking. Down, do. Right, let's just try it. The wind like that. Right, put yours somewhere there. I'll put mine there. Make sure it's well down in so it doesn't blow over. Not too covered up. When the corn's laid flat, which it is this year, the pigeons flock on it. They don't need to knock it down because it's already flat, so they can just help themselves. And each pigeon every day will eat as much as you can hold in your hand. And I mean, you get 1,000 pigeons eating all that every day, they will absolutely strip the crop. So we've got to do something about it.
Jack Lewis's closest friends are his dogs.
Who wants the back scratched? Come on. Roll over. Come on. Hey, come on. Come on. Roll over. I told you it was wet. Anna. Go on, roll over. Come on. Come on, Anna. Anna. All right, little. Oh. Watch his face. Oh. Okay. You want more? What about you? Had enough? Come on. Come on. Come on. suppose in the early days, the main thing was I had a job. I liked the countryside, and the job I had to do always involved protecting what we had, i.e. you kill rabbits and you kill vermin and you kill stuff as the pheasants. There's no doubt about it, it was your job. Now, in later years, you're not so dependent on the thing, and you don't have to kill for anything, so you don't do it. I don't kill nothing now unless it's a necessity. If something interferes with me in the garden, such as moles or a squirrel, I give him a chance. If he keeps on, I shoot him or trap him. And I've no compunction about it, because it has to be, but I feel a little sad. But as regards killing anything just for the pleasure of it, I don't want to do it now.
One of the traditional games in this part of Sussex is stool ball. It's said to be an even older game than cricket. It all began on the Kent and Sussex borders with milkmaids batting stones with their stools. Today, Joyce Lewis helps organise the Balcombe team.
Basically, it's sort of on the principles of rounders in cricket, with the 2 square stumps, 8 balls and over, and 2 batsmen, 2 bowlers, and so many overs each way, with one side going into field and one side going into bat. The men like to think they sort of can do all the batting and really hit it, and it's not as easy as it looks. There was Kendrick, John's eldest brother, who's a forester, and there's Sandy, he's a woodman, and my husband John, who's the gamekeeper. And then there's myself and Kendrick's wife Pat and Marlene, that's the wife of Sandy. And we all play in this village team as well.
Come on! Come on! I'm very proud of my sons now. They've done quite good. I think I'm a very lucky chap. I've got 4. They've all come out very well and done very well. I don't say they've done with their families I did with them, but I don't see how anybody can do anything without some discipline. Come on, Kenny! I never resented it. My father was very strict, but it only had to be talked over about twice, and that was sufficient.
Jack Lewis is no longer much of a hand at stool ball, but he does fancy himself as a mole catcher.
Well, of course, on the farms in my early days in Cheshire, there was professional mole catchers. I believe they came from Cumberland. They used to arrive by train with bundles of traps and a bicycle, and they used to go around the farms. And I believe they got a penny per acre for doing the whole farm, which some of them was 300 and 400 acres. And then I think they got a farthing a mole. They hung the moles on a string of barbed wire somewhere near the farm, and they used to walk about from one place to another. They probably had 50 or 100 traps going. They were barrel traps. And if they caught a mole, they put it in a pocket. And as they walked along, they would skin it and then hang the carcass up with the rest of them. Sometimes I've seen as many as 100 hanging on the fence.
Jack's also adept as a water diviner.
There's something to do with some effect, whether it's electricity or some mineral presence, because I can't wear a watch. A watch won't go on me at all. But I don't know, I can't explain it. It's a thing that is unexplainable.
I don't think even Kendrick is quite convinced about your water divining.
Well, no, he's not. We'll let it go at that. That's pretty strong there. When they got home at night, the mole catchers told me they skinned these moles and they had to make them 4 inches square. They nailed them on doors or barns, wherever they could, dried them, and they sold them for 3 pennies each. And that was in the 20s.
That's a Mr. Mole.
Fishing is a restful hobby. At least, that's Kendrick's view. It's a break from his work as head forester on the same estate as his brother John.
Well, I come fishing about once a week normally. I find it very enjoyable and relaxing. If I've got any problems on my mind, by the time I've been here half an hour, I've sort of completely relaxed and forgot them. At this time of year, in August, is the time to have a look around these Christmas trees plantations and get them trimmed out. And they'll take out the bracken so as to give it plenty of light so that the bottom boughs were good shape to make Christmas trees. It's usually an annual thing, taking Dad in wood. He usually has 2 or 3 loads of wood took in each year. That sort of sees him through the winter for firewood. He's always frightened he's never going to get any. He's the last on the list. So he pesters me for August time to get this wood in.
That's not a bad lot of wood.
No,
Better than I would have thought. Better than what you usually
it's
bring.
not bad, really.
But it's all out.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's good, that is.
That's
I'm
not
very
bad.
pleased with it.
But I thought
Let's
we'd
go and
bring
just
it for
check it
small
up.
ash later on. Yeah, in the course of a year on the estate, I would think we would do in the region of 10,000 yards of fencing, because being the forestry department, we're responsible for all the woodland fences on the estate. One of the main things I find is the most expensive is when it comes 15 years to doing a fence, you'll find out the hedge has grown out 10 or 12 foot from the woodland. This is the most expensive part of fencing, is cutting it back so as you can keep the field the same acreage, not end up with a 2-acre field when it should be 5 or 6 acres. But not everybody does this, but we do. We try and get the fences back onto the old fence line. Well, we'll give that old gate a try now then, fella. All the farm gates, other than roadside gates, are made out of larch rails sawn by estate staff. It's called a Balcombe gate, which has served satisfactory for 25 years. It's cheap, it's fairly easy to make, and it keeps cattle in off the road or in one field from another. It's gone right then on the engine. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad.
What do you think you were doing? You want a drink? Yeah. Something to do with you.
At Jack Lewis's cottage, the kettle is kept boiling most of the day. Jack receives many visitors, among them, all the year round, his former boss, Richard Greenwood, who has winning ways with a goose called Honky.
Come on. Come on, old boy. Come on, Honk. Come on. Come on, then. Come on, you old fool. Come on. Come and say good morning to me. Come on, then. Oh, yes, aren't you nice? Aren't you a splendid bird? Come on, then. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, I know. Isn't that marvellous? You want a little bit of bread, then? Come on, don't be stupid. Come on, then. There's the bread. Come on. Come on, Honk. Now talk to me. I know.
I reared that goose here, and he's lived in my house, but he will not have a thing to do with me or anybody else. All he wants to talk to is Mr. Greenwood.
Now look, You always... Come on. Where were you last night then, eh? Were you flying all night? Were you flying all night? Come on. Come on. Come on, talk to me. Come on. Oh, I know. It's all very difficult, isn't it? Oh, that's all right.
Or it might be the weekly visit of local grocer Norman Vidler, who has to guess in advance what may or may not be needed. Jack's never written a shopping list in 30 years.
Morning, Norman.
Morning, Jack. Not very nice this morning.
Not brought much of a morning, have you?
Terrible, isn't it?
Terrible.
Shocking.
What have you got?
Got your loaf of bread there.
Good lad.
And I'll have a look, see what you normally have. Do you want any biscuits this week, Jack? How's the biscuits?
You better leave me some.
Better leave you some.
Right. What have you got?
I've got the rich tea.
Right.
You want some crackers next time?
I could do with some crackers.
Right.
When you going on holiday?
I'm on holiday the next 2 weeks, Jack.
From today?
Well, after today, yeah.
And who's coming round here?
Brian will be round for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, well.
Look after you.
Good, good. I don't wish for nothing that I haven't got. No, I've been content with my lot. No.
How will you wish to be remembered?
Well, I know I'll be remembered. I can't thank you, old bugger.